built it from the ground up, and we now maintain it ourselves with Roger, Nick, and Roberta, Roberta being our new Chief of Staff in 2011. These three people essentially do all of the routine maintenance of our web presence, and we use our webmaster for new cutting edge, not bleeding edge, but cutting edge technology improvements so that our web presence is continually looking professional and looking strong. In addition, we went through and created a social networking system in 2010 for the railroad, Facebook, etc. Now initially we spent $10K in consulting fees to figure out how to create this Facebook social networking stuff. In 2011 we said thank you to our contractor and we took it on ourselves, again with Roger, Nick, and Roberta running that end of our business. In addition, last year, in 2010, we kind of had some rough times with our operating reservation system. We went looking, found 4 or possibly 5 options, whittled them down, and got down to a new system called Dynamic. And the ticket system now is the same relationship as our web presence. Internally, our reservation system is run by internal staff, and obviously our reservations team, which includes the ticket agents, the call center folks, they know how to work the system day to day, but Roger and Nick and now Roberta have become more in tune with the routine operations and maintenance. Again, they're on overhead. They're an overhead account for us, but again, we're not having to pay consulting fees to fix routine stuff, and our contractor focuses on improvements and or changes or incremental version improvements of our software system. During the year, as we moved through our business case, we developed a lot of new policy, literally cell phone policy, our drug testing policy, our due diligence in how we hire people from the local area is finally home. I'm pleased to report that in 2011, we had a nominal number of incidents where we had drug testing issues where we actually lost employees. Our position as a company was real simple on drug testing. If you failed a drug test when you were called back to work in the spring, you didn't go to work. And if you were on board and you failed a drug test and it was confirmed, you were relieved of duty and terminated for cause. I believe our crew has recognized that we're serious about the drug testing business, and I believe that's the safest way we can keep our own employees safe and, more importantly, ensure that our passengers are safe. That has worked really well. During the year we set a goal, actually we set the goal in 2010, of having 2 qualified railroad engineers on every train that we run on the Cumberson-Toltec Scenic Railroad, every regular service train. I'm pleased to report that in September 2011 we got there. Through the promotion of 3 new locomotive engineers that are fully qualified and all the testing to our standards, we now have 2 qualified engineers in the cab at all times in regular service trains. It's a good thing to do. We believe it's good business, and we believe that as American Heritage Railroad comes in, they now have assets that they can work with, and we're fully ready to support them in that venture. Again, we did the ticket agent mini call center. The mini call centers worked real well. When we launched the web presence, I kind of thought that maybe 80% of our passengers would start booking online. Just swipe your credit card, you're done. As it worked out, they go online, they look for the trip they want, they pick the trip they want, then they call us. So we still aren't quite out. I don't know how it is on the DNS call, but it's okay. We'll take their money any way we can, but the system works well. But this mini call center concept where we have phones rolling back and forth between Antonito and Chama has worked real well as well and get this done. We've replaced computers, printing, scanning capabilities. We've increased our bandwidth capacity thanks to the good work of John Ings and Dick Coles and others. We now have Wi-Fi at each end of the railroad in the depot. And the reason we did that is because our passengers would come to the train in the morning looking to do BlackBerry thing. We watched Commissioner Randall pretend he was doing that. And what we figured out is we needed to listen to what our customers wanted, and Wi-Fi became a standard issue at both depots this year, and it's been well received. We also managed to figure out a way to do cost accounting more appropriately on this railroad. We now can tell you what it costs to run a train from Chama to Lobato to the top of the pass, We know how much coal we're burning. We know how much coal we're burning by locomotive because the locomotives vary. We know how much water we're using. And we actually have a pretty good handle on what our cost structures are, which in years past, that was not our strong suit. We just sort of ran trains. And philosophically, beginning in 2010, I asked the staff to never, ever run a train, unless it was a charter or somebody else was paying the bill. We didn't run trains unless we had a good sense that at worst we would break even, and at best we were making money. We believe that this railroad has the potential for making money, and I believe that Alan Harper and company are going to help us figure that out as we move forward. I believe the opportunity's there. We put together a press corps team. Thanks to my friend Bill Hume, who's also a member of our board and former editor of the Albuquerque Journal. He essentially took 3 of our crew and taught them, literally taught them how the press works and how they play. And it's interesting, when we write press releases on this railroad and release them now, they actually get picked up. And the reason for that is the quality of how they're written and how they work. We conducted training programs. You know, one of our weak areas is that we didn't really have this customer service thing down too well. This year, I think we actually got there. Our crews went through customer service training that included docent training from the Friends. Our company, our people were working on the railroad, and they didn't necessarily know and understand the history and what this railroad is about. The docents came in, Bob Ross and Bob Hay came in and worked with our staff over the course of the summer. And now, when we're selling tickets, we can actually talk with our would-be customers so that they know exactly what this railroad's about because our staff knows what this railroad's about. I think that was a great thing that we got done. You know, we're doing the Red Cross training on CPR, first aid, our rules class now, thanks to internal staff. Our rules class is second to none, and I take that directly from Ralph Gutierrez at FRA. He's looked at our training manuals and he's looked at what we're doing and it works. We had to do tips training this year because we went into serving alcohol. It was a great year. As I've reported to the commission, there are 2 significant non-events this year. One of those non-events involved operations of the railroad this past summer. We knew last fall and winter that things were going to be rough this year, moisture-wise. Marvin and Ronnie Lopez, our train master, took it upon themselves last fall about this time to sit down with the Rio Grande National Forest, the Carson National Forest, and the 2 state fire agencies. And with their good efforts and with Marvin's leadership as general manager, they put together a fire suppression plan. This fire suppression plan was both technically accurate and it was doable. And what paid off for us is by mid-June, we were advised by the Carson National Forest that they would be shutting down the National Forest on or about July 1st of 2011. That scared the heck out of us because we knew what it meant to lose revenue overnight, like the Lobato Trestle did. With Marvin's hard work and with Ronnie's hard work and working with those agencies, we knew when Carson was going to shut down. And because from day 1 of our 2011 season on May 28th, we followed that fire suppression plan, the Carson guys went out of their way to ensure that we knew we wouldn't be affected by their shutdown. The places that we run were shut down by the feds. We kept running, and we had a superior record. We still had daily fires like normal, but our fire patrols were on it, double fire patrols if we needed it, plus tankers on the road. We got through the season with no major incidents relative to fires. Had we been shut down by the Carson National Forest, that would really hurt us. And even though we got to 32,000 riders this year, had that happened, we would have really taken a big beating for the year revenue-wise. I commend Marvin, and I thank them both, Ronnie and Marvin, for their hard work in this. And the good news is we continue to operate under this agreement. The second non-event of the year had sort of 2 sides to it. As I mentioned earlier, the Federal Railroad Administration was not happy with how we were doing our business in 2010. It wasn't our technical business they were unhappy about. What they were unhappy about is our failure to accurately, in a timely manner, file reports with FRA. In 2010, we set about in motion, again under Marvin's leadership, with Nick, with Avery, Glenn Avery here, from the Chama Shop on the technical side, and Nick on the business side, and we fixed our relationship with both ends of FRA, the technical end and the operating end. And in 2011, we absolutely had no issues with those guys, and I'm pleased that they actually, when they come here, and they don't tell you they're coming, but when they come here, it's sort of non-events. They go through, they do their inspections, but they trust we're doing the right thing. The second non-event for us is that during 2011, we experienced 0 reportable accidents and 0 reportable derailments. This, in total measure, is a reflection of the leadership inside this railroad. Ronnie, as train master, and the crews there out there on the line did a super job of staying safe. You know, when you can operate in our normal experience is mountain railroading on narrow gauge with old equipment, and you can hit 0 and 0 in this category, you just hit an A+ for the year. And I'm very proud of what Marvin and Ronnie and the track crews and the shop crews did to keep our equipment in superior running order, and as a result, 0 reportables. I thank the track crews and the